It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's really, really wild.
Very rough.
Completely crazy.
Pretty freaking fast.
I just put out everywhere. Alright, that was fun. I'll live another day.
Loving the conditions. I mean, it's just loose and wild.
Not good at all.
I bet the old champ on the stage, so my weekend's done, I'm happy.
Week we find ourselves in Cerro Catedral in Argentina, a little bit different from Corral last week in Chile, where we were down by the coast. Now we are up in the mountains. As you can see behind me from this big map, it's a ski resort. So there's ski lifts, but riders won't be using them for every stage. They'll get one go on them at the end of each day. So the first day starts with the riders down here in the village where we are now, and they'll be using these pistes, but in the opposite direction, riding up the hill to take themselves to this point here, which teasingly is at the top of a lift, but these aren't going to be allowing them to get up there. They're going to have to be using those legs. And then they'll weave their way down underneath all these lifts and then out to that side of the village where the finish line will be. And then they'll have a little loop out of that end, which is just off our map here, to stage 2, a little bit flatter and a little bit of a pedal out to that one. But then after that, they get to come back into the town, refuel, get some lunch, and then it's all fun and games in the afternoon when they get on this lift here, right the way up to this point. Still, they're going to have a long drag of a liaison after that. They have to traverse all the way across the hill up to this point, which is a real shark's fin poking out the top of this mountain. A dramatic start with 360-degree vistas all the way around it. Absolutely beautiful. And then they will be coming all the way back down, weaving underneath these lifts and back into the town at the bottom. And this is where the main sort of race village area is and where they'll be finishing the first day's racing. Day 2 once again starts down in the main village here, and then riders will be once again using the pistes in the opposite direction to ride up to this area here, and then they'll be coming back down again, similar sort of destination down here to the bottom here, back in the village, where that's the same finish line as stage 6. After that, they'll be going on a long liaison out of the town down in this direction for stage 5, which is going to be physically the most challenging. It's a little bit flatter, a lot more pedalling, but these riders are going to have that contrasted with stage 6, which after they've done 5 will come back in this lift once again up here, and then there's virtually no liaison at the top of that. The start is just here, and they'll be bombing it back down there on what is, I've been told, a full-on downhill track. I'm just about to go and have a ride of it, so join us for a trip down there. So this is the top of stage 6, final stage of the weekend, and let's have a look what it's got in store. Already you can tell this is going to be dusty and fast. Nice little jump out of there, and this is quick already. Dusty, got to look after this front wheel, stop it drifting away from you. Right, what's in here? Oh, a little bit of inside line there, and again you can already see dust coming up from the ride in front. See, thanks mate. This is just like riding powder on a snowboard. Just got to let it drift about. Just got a massive spray of dust in the face. Wow, quick jump there. Whoa, this is good. In the split of a groove, some holes develop in there. This is like a cross between a motocross sand track and snowboarding on powder. This bit of a gully
Keep my head down. Rock garden. That could do with a little bit of on-foot inspection to know where you're going. Oh, this will be tiring. The end of the weekend, getting the power down on that. And let's get ourselves stuck into this. Wow, this is whooped out here. Do the throttle, the finish arena. Rock garden here. Bit of a jump. Whoops into the bottom corner. And then that's your finish there. That's a lot of fun.
After an incredible start to the season down at the coast in Corral, Chile, we've been driving up into the Andes, across the border and into Argentina. Been quite a drive, but now we're here. What better to do than get an Argentinian steak, get some rest and get ready for the dusty riding we're bound to experience tomorrow. It's no wonder the Argentinian flag is blue and white with skies like this. We're in Cerro Catedral in Argentina for the second round of the Enduro World Series. It's just 19 kilometers up the road from San Carlos to Bariloche, a resort with a permanent population just over 100,000. On the shores of Patagonia's largest lake, Nahuel Huapi, meaning Tiger Island, it's the location Barack Obama chose to holiday on his recent trip to the country. There's beautiful views in all directions, as well as looking down at the ground for eyes like ours. There's dust everywhere. I've never ridden anything like it, and the riders are saying it's totally unique. It's beautiful, it's wild, and we're certainly in for a treat. One person that fell foul of the track in practice was Jared Graves.
Did a bit of a scorpion on my last practice run of 3 and nothing's broken or busted in any way, so that's good news. But at the moment I just sort of don't have any strength in my right arm and pretty confident it'll be alright. So give it a week and I think I should be back on the bike 100%.
Now that the riders have dusted themselves off after practice, it's time to do it for real and we're ready to race.
It's very, very physical in this sun, so as you can see, it was pretty hard to pedal in this. Lot of tight turner, you must push hard.
It was pretty much a waste of time practicing, really. There's nothing like we were training on. It's definitely going to be about like kind of knowing where you're going, but just really looking ahead and making sure to see those routes that might be better.
Oh my God, that was the fastest.
It's a very physical and hard stage to start the day. The fun of playing in dusty practice is replaced by riders finding it hard to keep the power output high enough to plough through it. Ravenel has that power and aggression to take this stage ahead of Corduria and the impressive Casey Brown in her first EWS.
I feel good. No mistakes back. It's difficult, I like it.
It was so deep. Had a little bit of a
crashed, like a really slow one, but it was okay.
A wash machine. To compare the practice runs, the holes are just like 3 feet deeper.
It's pretty technical, so I guess it suits me pretty well.
The ever-evolving tracks are proving a challenge, becoming like a motocross sand track with all the ruts and holes. It's Ruud leading again, but big news is the performance of newbie Lewis Buchanan in second, and Iago Gary pulls an impressive fourth out the bag. Tony Ferrero holds on to a strong start, sitting fourth in the GC. Ravenel is starting to look unstoppable, as Corderia and the fast-progressing Ray Morrison are a little behind her.
In all the years you've been racing, have you ridden anything like this before?
No, never. I am 40 since 25 years. Never, even in the track.
Alright, a little sore. Had a crash at the top and I'll live another day.
Well, I just blew it. Threw that one in the bin, so we'll see where we end up.
It's been good. I mean, first Enduro, I think I lucked out and got a good one. Like, it's apparently the Enduro for downhillers. Loving the conditions. I mean, it's just loose and wild, and that's how I like to ride most of the times. When you are like the same speed as the rider in front of you, there's nothing you can do. You can't see anything.
Yeah, really good. Just go with flow and pedal hard in the sections. I'm happy with the run.
In clear sight of the finish, it's drama on almost every run. Crashes and loose riding galore. Ravenel is visibly quicker than most of the field, and Tony Ferrero holds onto the horse on this wild track for his first ever stage win, moving himself up into third in the GC. Buchanan crashes, but still salvages a seventh. The lifts are now closed, as you can see, and it's the end of the first day's racing here in Cerro Catedral. What an incredible day it's been. We've seen some wild crashes and even wilder saves out there in this crazy dust. But at the end of the first day, nothing has changed in terms of performances. It's once again Richie Ruud flying high, but Martin May's pretty close behind him, just 4.4 seconds back, and he is going well on these tracks. Then in the women's, it is Cecile Ravenel running away with it. She's won all three stages and is a clear 40 seconds up on nearest rival Isabeau Corderia. So let's look forward to some hot racing again tomorrow. It's day two, the sun's out once again, and the riders are lining up behind me to depart for the final three stages of this event. I just got a cheeky slap on the ass from Richie Ruud on his way through the pits, and no wonder he's in high spirits. He's leading another round of the World Enduro, so let's see if him and Cecile Ravenel can hold on to add this round to their first round wins.
Because I stayed the whole winter without bike, with a hand broken, so I just try to push hard. I crash a lot. It's really difficult.
I catch quickly the dust of Anneke.
Not good at all. Been feeling pretty miserable on the bike.
A bit the old champ on the stage, so my weekend's done. I'm happy.
The clean sweep through the dust continues for Ravenel. Blenkinsop takes his second ever stage win and first of this event. Ahead of his good mate Ruud, and Mays is keeping them both honest and only loses a second to Ruud in the overall. Ferrero crashes and his chain comes off, so he slips back a little. The dirty old dog Gracia racks up an impressive fifth, whilst compatriot and 2013 champ Clements has his strongest stage in fourth.
The best mechanic in the world, gonna have to swap 2 tires in less than 10 minutes. Full stop, up.
Yeah, even time for ball check, chain loop. As I said, might even have time for an espresso, you know? Always time for espressos.
Actually, it was good fun. I think it was pretty good benefit to take that aerodynamic style.
I had such a bad start to today as well. This whole weekend, just finding the flow's been so hard.
That fifth stage was a bit flat. I tried to pedal everywhere and had a clean run.
You're either pedaling to keep up in speed, or you're pedaling because you blew out a corner, or you're pedaling because it's a big hill.
The fifth stage is certainly a leg burner, but Ruud shows he's the full package of power and skill, nailing it home with a 6-second win over the powerful Francois Bailey-Maitre, giving Ruud 13 seconds over Mays in the GC. Blenkinsop isn't quite as strong on the pedals, but maintains a healthy third in the overall. It's Ravenel owning it again in the women's, but Casey Brown shows she also has the fitness to match her talent, only 600ths back for second on that stage. But now it's all back to the steeps, with a lift to the top and a ferocious downhill track to round off the weekend. Blanky gets another stage to wrap up the weekend. Mays said before heading up that he was going to push for the overall win, which he did, but with a solid ride from Ruud in fourth, his lead was insurmountable. Casey Brown rounds off her first EWS with a stage win, the only woman to get one over Cecile Ravenel this weekend. It's Ravenel and Ruud making it 2 from 2. Martin Mays was the most consistent we've seen him, with a second or third on every stage. Blenkinsop, Ferrero and Lowe impressively round out the top 5. If it hadn't been for 2 really disappointing final stages, Lewis Buchanan could have also been up there. Whilst there's a good battle developing in the women's behind Ravenel, with Brown, Coudurier, Thoma and Morrison handling the challenge, as Beaton had a disappointing weekend by her standards.
Voy a colgar de la aurora para que escuches mi verso.
Cecile, another storming performance from you. Congratulations today. How tough was it? Really changeable conditions.
Yeah, it was a awesome ride. When you try to find the flow, it's really cool to ride in this condition. I try to find a pleasure and to ride safely, and it was a good weekend for me.
Big congratulations, Richie. That's 2 in a row. You're riding high, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know, just like must be feeling good. Just riding to my the speed I know I can ride at, and I don't know, it was frustrating all weekend trying to stay in the routes and everything, all the courses, but I don't know, I guess I'm just riding good and I'm kind of confident with myself.
Not bad for a part-timer, eh? You're coming in third this weekend. How are you finding this enduro lark?
Yeah, pretty good. I guess this week kind of suited me a little bit better than last week because I didn't know where I was going. Last week I was kind of thinking the bigger pictures, the World Cup in 2 weeks, so I was thinking about that a little bit last week, and then this week when you kind of know things where you're going, you can have a little bit more risk and you get away with it a little bit.
Thanks. So we got Patagonia on the go, and it's been a good time for you in Patagonia.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Loving it. I mean, it kind of suits my style, a bit wild and loose in the terrain, so it's good, yeah. I think it takes just a bit of kind of knowing the limits of where you can push and knowing where to hold back and kind of just, trickle your way down and be safe about it, because things can go sideways pretty fast when it's like that.
Martin, another great weekend for you, another really strong second place, and you're pushing on at Richie. Great riding these last couple of weekends.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I've been riding consistent, which is the main thing for me, because I've been riding fast in the past, but never really consistent.
Chilling down here in the sun, how have you enjoyed it?
I really liked those 2 weeks, and I feel I did quite okay with 2 podium and 2 third place, so I'm really happy with that.
How do you feel about the series, that it's able to take us to such a large variety of tracks?
I mean, that's the beauty, I think, of enduro. From one weekend to another, we had completely different conditions. One was really tough physically, and this one was probably the most technical we ever had. So, I mean, that's great to have such a variety.
Ruud and Ravenel extend their leads. In the women's, Corduria and Beerton now tied in the series for second. Ray Morrison is taking a consistent grasp of the top 5. Mays is sure to be keeping Richie on his toes all year. Clemence and Vullios swap positions, and Tony Ferrero launches himself into 6th. It's GT who take the team win this weekend, but it's Lapierre, Gravity Republic who hold on to the series ranking with Adrian Daly, Nicolas Vullios and Ray Morrison. That's the last day of Patagonian magic. The eye of the storm was a little dust tornado. The riders have gone through, the cavalry's moving on, and until the next round, Cécile Ravenel and Richie Ruud are your series leaders. We'll see you in Ireland.